Hey, what is going on, guys? This is the Bogey-Free podcast for the AT&T Byron Nelson. I'm your host, Evan Chaney. Today, joined by Matt and Jimmie. How you doing today, guys?
What's up, man? Doing great.
Yeah, I wish I could say the same.
Yeah, you're.
It is very definitively not my day today. So
you're telling us for the show. I feel bad for you, honestly. But I see you got a Miller Lite in hand, so it's not too bad.
Yeah, I figured I'd get that in first. I'd get that first, and then I got my my little seaweed IPA from Blue Point for after that. So
okay.
Why are you drinking the crappy beer first?
Two beer show.
Okay, there you go. Well, we did have some good news today. Sports betting.
Yeah.
I mean, come on, that's got to be good stuff going on there.
We're coming out from under the rock and out of our caves, and we're walking. We're upright now, so it's good.
Yeah, he finally let us in.
Look at it. Yeah. I think it'll be big. Ultimately, I mean, it's there's like $400 billion globally in that industry. So there's a lot of opportunity for the states to cash in and turn it into sort of like another green rush. There's a lot of money, to go into infrastructure and things for our states. So I hope the states adopt it. I hope the money goes towards what it needs to go towards in most of our states, to get deep on everybody. But, I think it has the potential to do a lot of good, not only for our community, but in general across the country. So I hope it's received well.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty close to New Jersey, so I can definitely hop over across the border, get some bets in ASAP. Nice. All right, so we'll bring it back to some golf here. Let's talk about last week for a sec. Webb Simpson, my dude.
Just all the putts.
Yeah, I guess we talk about a new guy, right? Hashtag new list. I guess it really is hashtag new Webb. I've been fighting it all year. I did roster some of him last week, and it helped carry me through. Cashed a nice little qualifier ticket, so I can't say that I don't have love for Webb anymore, unfortunately. But really huge on him. Nobody else was really in contention, right? It's
yeah, it was an easy sort of like I can go do Mother's Day things yesterday because you didn't really have to worry about much. Like there was going to be any sort of a sweat for Webb at least. And for our listener league, Tom Schrank took it down again. So shout out to, I think that's his third time this year.
The guy on tour, Adam Schenk?
No, Tom Schrank.
Oh, confusing him.
A cousin, not related.
That's why he's so good. He's getting the insider info from his boy on tour.
I was gonna say he's definitely
namesake. Yeah, we need to get that guy on the pod.
Yeah, absolutely.
See what's up. See what the secret is, man.
Yeah, he's I'm pretty sure it's been 3. I can look that up at some point. But yeah, and then a name I didn't recognize, Taylor S252 came in second. So shout out to him. Cool. And it was a pretty disastrous week for me. I tried to be a little smarter, play some more cash, and whoever I beat with this cash lineup this week, like, God bless you for playing, because it was like, holy shit. It was not good, man. It was not great. I was like, there's no way I'm winning anything. So I took down somebody, or I think 2 people actually, with my unbelievable cash line this week. So hopefully we can get some good plays this week. It's a remarkably weak field, so.
Yeah, I mean, we have a gem here I'm already looking at.
I've starred 17 guys on Fantasy National, and I hate like 10 of them. So
wow, this is gonna be a hot take show.
Well,
granted, I've also been running all.
Oh man,
did he pay his cable bill? Did we just lose Matt?
I don't know. It could be part of the bad luck for today.
I don't know, man. I guess we're just going to have to carry it through.
Oh, goodness.
I guess I'll just jump into the course real quick. For those that haven't checked it out already or didn't see it that listen to the podcast, definitely check out my course preview video on fanshare.com. But it's a brand new course this week for the Byron Nelson. We're at Trinity Forest, normally a par 72. This week it's chopped down to a par 71. Kind of tells me that they are conscious of maybe how well this place could be scored on if they left that fourth par 5 in. So they've guarded against that a little bit, dropping it down to a par 71. But it's a really unusual course, guys, built on top of a landfill, tons of quote-unquote natural mounding, heaps of garbage that were covered over by clay that just were naturally pushed into place by people over a couple decades. But it really is. It's a treeless, expansive, links-like layout. The more I've dug into it, it really reminds me of sort of like the Olympics course, sort of like Castle Stewart, where they play the Scottish Open a little bit. A little bit like Erin Hills, but not really. And then Pinehurst number 2 is what sort of the course designers compare it to. But you've got really expansive, tightly mown, really firm, bouncing fairways with a custom blend of Trinity Zoysia. It used to be LF1G, some stupid name that they renamed it, and it's much better. Trinity Zoysia. And then they use Championship Bermuda on the green. So it's going to be a firm course, assuming it does not get a ton of rain on Tuesday. I think that they want this course to be firm and play firm. It is very much exposed, and it will be very susceptible to the elements. So pay attention to the wind. We are projecting wind to come through on Saturday currently. So that's definitely going to have an effect, and especially the direction of the wind here in Texas. I guess, when you talk to you talk to some of the guys that live out there, the north-south wind isn't too bad, but the east-west wind or the west-to-east wind, I can't remember which one, gets pretty gnarly. So just keep an eye on that because we are in Texas, especially with the single-round DraftKings going on. Something to be aware of. Weather will definitely play a factor in Texas, as it almost always seems to. So, but really, guys, it's going to be a second-shot course. You're not going to be missing too many fairways around here, I don't believe. And guys are going to be able to use their imagination around the greens. And hey, he's back. He's back.
Yeah. You can't make this shit up, man. It's unbelievable. Router just unplugged itself.
Oh, that's magical.
I'm killing it today. Just do everybody who's listening, do yourself a favor. Don't play anybody I fucking want to play this week.
There's balance in the universe, Matt. For all this bad that's come your way, there's got to be some good coming. So
I guess.
Maybe there's a GPP in the future.
Well, yeah, we hope it comes in the form of a GPP.
Jeez. All right, sorry. I'm back. Hopefully for the rest of the show.
Yeah. To wrap up on the course, link style, exposed, second shot golf course, lots of undulation, can play very different based on weather. So just pay close attention. But otherwise, guys, it's a total crapshoot on the course. Everyone is going to be guessing, myself included. So maybe pay attention to the Golf Channel, see what the guys are saying on the interviews and whatnot. Is probably going to be your best bet to get sort of an angle.
All right. So off that, Matt, going to you. What stats will you be looking at to build a player pool this week?
Yeah, I mean, I've been looking. If you just pull up, and again, I missed some of what Jimmie was saying, so pardon me if I'm repeating anything. But even if you just look at the pictures of this course, you automatically can. It looks like it's like an alien planet. It's totally different than anything that that most of these guys are going to be used to playing on any sort of regular basis. So with the links. This whole links idea, I was looking into some stuff, and really any links course that I could find sort of driving distance doesn't help almost at all. And I'm going to be sticking to more accurate. If you're accurate and you have some distance, that's a bonus, but it's definitely a strategic golf course, and you need to be on the right side of fairways. And you could get some pretty hairy lies. So just the normal stuff, strokes gain approach, a little bit of proximity stuff, and accuracy. Just not that you'll really miss any of these fairways because they're huge, but just being in the right spot helps.
Yeah.
Okay.
I agree. I mean, it's as far, I guess I'm looking at approaches from 150 to 175. I think scrambling is going to play a factor here, but I mean, like in my other video, I said that this course reminds me of Todd Hamilton's win, where he kind of chipped around the greens with his hybrid when he won his Clare Jug, and like you could absolutely do that here. There's going to be a whole lot of ways to play these holes, I think, and there's probably not one singular type of golfer that'll be successful here. I think there's probably you'll probably see sort of a smattering of different bombers and short, accurate type of guys, kind of cycle throughout the leaderboard this week. What I do think about this event is it traditionally has been sort of a crapshoot and a first timer's paradise, and I don't really expect that to change. The field is weak, which lends itself to that, but chaos seems to reign in this swing and in Texas in general, maybe because the weather. But I don't know. If you have conviction, I think you just go with it on some of these guys, or if you have an angle, because really nobody has the answer. And I think that not being on the chalk maybe could be a week that you could hit huge.
Yeah, for sure. And did you mention the grass that's like only here? Did you?
Oh yeah, the Trinity
Zoysia. I just had to say it at least once.
I mean, like they just keep coming up with new names for grass.
Seashore Paspalum. That's a funny one.
Yeah.
Seashore palm tree.
I know the boys at Fantasy National are going to have to throw on a. Oh no, that's just greens. Never mind. I was going to say they're going to have to throw a Zoysia filter on there at some point too.
Yeah, in a couple weeks.
They're adding stuff every week, so I'm sure it's in the works somewhere. It seems like they add a new feature like every week.
Oh yeah,
all the time. Crushing it.
So on that note, we will move to our 10K and up golfers. We have 3 this week: Spieth, Kuchar, Garcia. Jimmie, where are you at here in this range?
It's hard to ignore Spieth, who's apparently a member at this golf course. He's going to be one of the few people in the field that have ever seen the course. So that's a huge point of contention. I've wrote him up, but everything lines up for Spieth. I mean, like literally everything, every model I build, everyone that, is like the Twitterverse is a buzz with Jordan Spieth as the favorite here. It's really difficult to kind of get away from him. And I think whatever people look at, whether they look at last week, even with this poor finish, or whether they look at its stats or the Texas angle or the hometown, like whatever you look at, people are going to find a reason to play Spieth. So he's going to be super chalky, but it all fits, right? But because of that, there's an inherent upside to, fading him or to, taking, some other exposure away from him, or not necessarily making him the center of, not going 100% on Spieth or, whatever. I definitely think that there is merit for all of those things to sort of catch up with him and Spieth to disappoint this week. Just be aware of that. It's like, it's weird. Like I never play Webb Simpson at Quail Hollow because he lives there and like he hosts people at his house, and like, these guys have like a ton on their plates, and like people are asking for tickets. Like it's just a really busy week when you're the host, and like that stuff can get in the way, and that's not like an unknown thing. So just be aware of that if you're on Spieth. I'm going to have some exposure for sure, but definitely make some of the other guys that are going to be lesser owned up here interesting. But I really, for the most part, like guys in the 9K and lower range, kind of for the reason that I said earlier, that I think chaos reigns a little bit in Texas.
So you're opting for a more balanced lineup approach this week?
Probably. I don't see myself going like crazy on any one guy up in this range. Even though they all have like the theoretical game that fits well here, and what you're looking for is, second shot approach, good proximity, and, just some are good putters, some are bad putters. But really, like putting's a huge question mark this week because there's so much undulation all throughout these greens, and these greens are huge, people. Like there's a 35,000 square foot green that's shared between the 3rd and 11th hole. I think like if like your caddy gave you the wrong pin to shoot at, you'd have like 100+ yard putt, 100-yard putt, right? So, and these greens are big in general. Like if you're on the wrong side of a green in a swale, like you could see, like, so putting is like this humongous question mark on what are supposed to be firm but slow greens. Like who really knows? So like I'm not really weighing putting at all. If I weigh any sort of putting, it'll be 3-putt avoidance. And like, I don't know, it's just not really a concern of mine up here. So they all kind of have the same game, good in the wind, good ball strikers. But I don't know if any of these guys are going to get it done at the 5-digit range.
Matt?
Yeah, I think I know I'm not alone in this. I think I'm going to be all over Spieth. The T41 is sort of from last week is sort of like a bit of a mirage because what did he 3-putt or whatever on the last green? I think he did something stupid at the end and like
it was a really bad
double
finish.
or tripled. So I'm going to be all over Spieth. I know that doesn't make me unique or interesting at all, but not many things could really make me interesting at this point. I just have to stick with that. I want to think that maybe Sergio goes under-owned and could make some sense. I don't really have like a ton of confidence in his game right now, obviously, but I wouldn't be surprised if he sort of popped up, especially with this like weak field. Like I mentioned, I think there's 2 in the top 10 and like 4 in the top 30 or something like that. So it's not like there's a ton of pedigree up at the top here. And you're getting him cheaper than Kuchar. So I think as much as I love Kuchar, probably talent wise, I think it's safe to say that Garcia is a little bit more of a talented golfer overall. Is that fair? I think.
Absolutely. I wrote up Kuchar. I think Kuchar is ultra safe for cash. I think he's back in form. You look at some of the comp courses and some of the things I talked about, playing well in British Opens, playing well in the wind, playing well at Castle Stewart, playing well at the Olympics. Kuchar finished second to Spieth at last year's Open. Kuchar finished third behind Rose and Stenson for the Olympics. Kuchar has top 10 at Castle Stewart. Like, right. Kuchar fits really well. Sure. So I think if you want if you're up here and you want to play like a guy in cash, I think you play Kuchar over Spieth in cash.
Yeah. And I think that would probably, even just with like the savings, you can go from a guy that is, 7,500 to 8,700 if you play Kuchar instead of Spieth, which I think gains you a ton also. And it's not just about Spieth versus Kuchar. It's about who are you gaining because of that decision too, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, 3 guys, yeah, whatever. There's actually more than 4 guys in the 9K range this week. Like, who the hell would have
that's
thought?
the shocking part of the pricing here.
Yeah, well, really, there's 2 that are totally mispriced, but, whatever.
Oh, boy. What do you got?
Oh, well, I mean, Billy Horschel and Bo Hostler have no business being at 9K even in this field. That's ridiculous.
Bo has some ties here, just saying.
Yeah, exactly. That's what you're paying for 9K. Like, it's not really where he should be at, in my opinion. He should be at like 8,400, 8,200. Like, are you telling me that Bo Hostler is better than Grayson Murray? Like, no. And they're both in similar form. Give me a break.
If you ignore like one round of each of Bo's tournaments, he's probably like the best golfer in the world right now.
That's fine.
He just right? Like, he seems to have that one round where you're like, he just can't like quite get over that hump.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And conversely, Peter Uihlein down at 8,500 has like 3 mediocre rounds and then like a 61.
Right, because he's the GOAT.
Yeah, but either way, like, I don't know. I don't see myself going to Decky. Jimmie Walker, Brandon Grace, and Mark Leishman are where I'll be focused, and I am all over Grace and Leishman. Grace, so Narrative Street, Grace has got baby swag, right? Took some time off after the Masters, have the kid, settle in. Could backfire, sure, but he was playing really well leading up to that. This course suits him really well. Like, I could see him having a really good day Saturday when the wind gets up. Sunday, if the course dries out, contending after maybe struggling the first 2 days to kind of find the rhythm and shake off the rust. And Mark Leishman, man, like, this just seems like I don't know. He $9,100, and he's like Adam Scott. Would he change a driver and a putter, and now he's playing better? Then that's cool, but. Like, Mark Leishman's been playing much better consistently throughout this year, and he's cheaper. Jimmie Walker, has flashed a couple of times, and again, not playing as well as Mark Leishman, in my opinion. So I think you're getting a huge discount on Leishman in this field for what he is at 9,100. I'm sure other people are going to be on him. I don't even know where ownership's like potentially shaking out so early this week. But like I really like Mark Leishman for that. So that's where I'm going to be focused is Grayson Leishman, sprinkle in a little Walker, and I'll have just a tiny bit of Scott. Hostler is interesting, but sell me on Hostler.
Well, all right. Well, here's the thing. If you're going to tell me that he, like, forget about the price for a minute, because I agree. Like, would I ever want to pay like $9,000 for him? Of course not. That being said, I do think that in this field, it's obviously a little bit more, I don't know, what's the word? Stomachable? That's not a word, but you know what I mean?
Palatable.
Yeah.
You're the English teacher here. Shouldn't you know this?
Dude, I was talking about sexting all day with 12-year-olds. Like, my brain is completely mush. Like, I can't. My brain isn't working anymore.
I got you.
But so he really, like, the concerning, quote unquote, concerning thing with Hostler this past week, where he didn't have the best finish, he lost 7 strokes putting.
Yeah.
Like, that's insane. Granted, if you want to play devil's advocate, his like heritage and at the Shell, he gained a ton of strokes putting. But it seemed like,
gosh, you're right. I'm looking at it now. Holy crap.
So after 3 weeks of losing strokes on approach, at least last week he gained over 2 strokes on approach. He was good around the greens again, and he gained strokes off the tee. So for me, I think the rest of his game pulling back together, and if he has any sort of like familiarity with these greens and stuff, and he can putt even neutral if he's hitting the ball off the tee like he was last week, I think that he's at least worth, you know, a little bit, unless you tell me his ownership gets out of control, because I'm not paying $9,000 for a chalky Bo Hostler, right? Like, I don't want to do that. But if it's reasonable, if it's, you know, I don't really know what my threshold is. Maybe, I don't know. What do you see him getting to, Jimmie?
Again, it's so early. I really don't even know, but I would say it's probably difficult to see him over 13 to 15%. I don't think that. Like he's not going to get anywhere near 20, and I mean, probably closer to like 10 to 12, I guess.
Yeah.
Like I think Leishman takes up a bunch of ownership. I think people jump on Scott here. I don't know. I think there's going to be so many guys heavy on Spieth that this entire range goes a little bit flatter than it should.
Yeah. I think
because it's really difficult in this field. If you've built like any lineups, it's kind of difficult to grab Spieth and then another guy here in this 9K range and then feel comfortable with like the back end of this lineup, the bottom end. So I think that potentially that like even though the 9K range is expanded, it could maybe go a little under-owned. Not sure, but I do see like your lowest owned guys, I'm sure, are going to be Horschel and Grace, probably.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, if Grace is going to be super low owned, I can definitely get on board with that too. I feel like I'm probably going to spread myself out a little bit from like Grace to Hostler, like those 4 guys with Scott and Leishman in the middle, and probably just go from there in that range. Like make if I land on a couple guys in the 8,000 or like mid 7,000 that I like, and just sort of rotate, you know, those 4 guys through in stacks in different combinations and hope 2 of them hit the right way.
Okay. One thing on Adam Scott, I mean, the dude is just so inconsistent. I know he had a good week last week, or like, you know, for the players. But Adam Scott is just, the inconsistency is killer. And at 9,200, you know, how much do you want of him?
I mean, do you think people, what was he on last week?
I can check that.
I don't know.
Like,
I don't know. Adam Scott literally cost me $10,000. Unfortunately. So it's really difficult for me to like be warm and fuzzy to him, but I did play him the following week. I didn't play him last week when he changed his driver and his putter. That sort of like, I think is what gave him the spark. Like that could absolutely carry Scott through. I noted that in my article that like, it's interesting to me. I don't know if it's interesting enough to get me like more on him. I will have, you know, I'm not going to play a ton this week. Cause again, I think volatility reigns in Texas. So I'll have a couple of $33 entries, and I'll probably have like 10 or 12 of the big $4, and that'll be it. I'm not going to play cash here. So like maybe I could be talked into a little more Scott as the week progresses, but I don't know, man. Does like the spark from last week, is that enough?
I'm just thinking that I think his ownership jumps up more than his probability to do anything here, if that makes sense. Like,
yeah.
I think that might end up outweighing, like, I would like to be confident in him again, but I think so many people are going to jump back on that I don't know if there's like a reason to be that excited about him. Again, could be totally wrong. His ownership might not bump up too much, but that's just sort of how I'm looking at it as of Monday evening.
Yeah, I mean, so if you're looking at it and saying, okay, Adam Scott is like a 10% chance of being a top 6 point per dollar value play, right? And he's going to be owned at 25%. It doesn't really make sense to roster him to that point.
Right.
Especially if you're going to play single entry. So, exactly. Yeah, I think the logic there makes sense. All right, so on that note, we'll bump down to the 8,900 range. I know I have an $8,200 gem here who, I'll talk about in a little bit. But, guys, anyone want to get the top half of this range here first?
Go for it, Matt.
Yeah, I'll go first this time. This might be like I might be a sucker, but this might be like a little bit of an Aaron Wise week for me.
Goodness.
Am I an idiot? I think I'm an idiot. There's a true chance that I'm an idiot, but it just seems like, I don't know, like you said in the beginning, like this volatility, right? Like we sort of can expect that we don't know what to expect this week. And I mean, everything that I'm looking at for him seems to be sort of pointed in the right direction. He played well at the Wells Fargo a couple weeks ago. And it seems like that, I mean, not that it's really like that, like closely correlated, but similar skill sets, I think, could be successful there and here to a certain extent. Played well around the greens, gained strokes off the tee, like the things that I'm looking for. And he didn't like he wasn't like Webb Simpson on the greens, right? He was like a little bit of a spike, but nothing crazy. So I'm looking a little bit at Wise this week. He's what is he, third in DK points over the last 36 rounds in this field. So for a pretty cheap price, that sort of popped out to me. And then I don't know, Jimmie, I don't know if you said it here on your video, but you were saying that you might be targeting some Euro guys too this week, right?
Yeah, and it's kind of what's got me on Uline a little bit more than maybe maybe I should be. I wrote him up, and when you look at like his recent success, it's sort of fluky. It's like I said earlier, like 3 average rounds, and then like a 61 or something, that sort of carries him through. And I'm not sure that'll fly this week, but again, I think we're going to see a dynamic golf course, and Uline cut his teeth on the European Tour, and they're used to playing, courses that change dramatically throughout the week, and they're used to playing courses that are very similar in setup to this, at least more frequently than the guys here. So I'm going to take some GPP shots with Uline, a hype guy that could absolutely bomb. So GPP only, but I will take a few shares of him. I actually like a lot of guys in this range. Your Wise call is compelling there. I hadn't really considered him, but he'll probably make a lineup now, because you're absolutely right. Like he and Bo Hostler are very similar players. Like we know that they competed against each other in that like epic battle, and to this point, like Bo seems to have been outpacing Wise until maybe recently, where Wise has showed some consistency as I looked at it. So I think that's a pretty good call there. I like Piercy coming off the duos win. Long iron player, can play well in the wind. We know he's got a class game and can get really hot with his putter. Kind of hung with DJ in the U.S. Open. I think the same one with Landry, whatnot. So Piercy kind of rounding back into form is pretty interesting to me here at 8,400. Definitely has the ability to like win this event. And then same thing with JB Holmes right there. I think I'm not sure if he'll get chalky or not, but JB Holmes just seems like the type of golfer that sets up really well for this event. Maybe not because of his current stats, but because of where he's played well in the past. He's played really well at Castle Stewart in the past. The one time he played awful there is because his clubs didn't show up until 4 hours before tee time. You know what I mean? So he's played well overseas. Then he goes to the US or the British Open 2 weeks later and posts a fourth and lights the course up to chase down Stenson and Phil. Clearly has the ability to play on links courses, can get super hot scoring. Absolutely, if the course is soft, could dominate this golf course. Really high ball flight, should be able to kind of land it where he wants on some of these greens. Maybe some of these other guys can't, to take out the undulation. Either way, I like Holmes for what he's done on courses in Europe and type courses, and he's a much better player than the players around him in pricing. I hope he goes overlooked. I'm not sure. Again, I'm not sure where pricing shakes out, but I think I'm going to have a lot of JB Holmes in this range.
Yeah, I think Baroff tweeted something about Holmes too.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, and I just realized he's sort of like, I think that tweet like incepted me before, because I thought of that. And then I just looked up to make sure I was giving him credit for having tweeted it out. And I was just going to say in the 7,000, I'm like, what about Bill Haas? And that's in the same tweet. So he definitely he's entering my brain right now. So for whatever that's worth. But yeah, no, I'm definitely with you on Holmes. And I don't think he gets crazy, right?
I doubt it. I doubt it, because he's at 8,300. If he was at like 7,800 or 7,600, I think he'd be like super chalky, because we've seen him at like even 7,400 in like, a little bit better fields than this. But but either way, I'm starting, like, the more I talk about it and think about if I'm really going to lean on some of these comp courses that I've kind of put together in my head, then he just fits way too well. So I've got to add him to my article too, I think. But anyway, I also like Martin Laird. He's in the article. Martin Laird for sort of the same reasons. Really, really high ball flight. He's a Scot. He knows how to play links course as well.
You're just taking everybody from me, Jim.
Well, go ahead.
No, he's like my only other starred person that I actually felt good about, even though he didn't play well last week. Made the cut and really got saved by his putter, right? I think he gained over 5 strokes putting, but he played well last time. They were in Texas. So something to consider. I think that he fits, like you were saying, he fits really well here. Yeah, I just want him to be good. Like, is that bad? I know that I shouldn't play guys because of that, but I like watching him play golf. I enjoy seeing him in contention.
No, I think so. The reason I'm on Marty Laird is maybe a little bit different than yours. But I think this is the type of guy that could put it all together at an event like this. So if you go back 4 events at the Arnold Palmer, it was a pretty well balanced game that got him around and posted a 26th. Then the Heritage 32nd, and it was all around the green game. And then Texas last at the Valero, he gained 4 strokes off of the tee and posted an 11th, right? And then last week he gained 5.5 stroke or 5.2 strokes with his putter to kind of salvage his week as he struggled around a difficult players course. I think this is the week that the driver and the around the green game, the balanced approach from the I think this is the week that all 4 of those things that have fired separately different weeks could come together at a tournament like this, at a course like this that he's going to be familiar with and maybe have an advantage over some of the other guys, especially the younger guys around him. So does he get chalky? Probably. Just because what I'm saying is not groundbreaking and or not known by other people. So he probably does get chalky, but I really like Martin Laird here at 7,900 this week to have a solid week.
We skipped over your boy, Ev. Take your 30 seconds to talk about Grayson.
Grayson.
Oh no, I mean there's guy
2
below him.
There's 2 of my guys here.
Yeah, double Grayson. M, GM and Eminem.
Yeah, Hillbilly and Hillbilly sidekick, Maverick McNeely.
The Grayson and Maverick show. Murray and McNeely.
Honestly, I have no clue how McNeely. I know this is a weak field this week, But how did McNeely justify an $8,100 price tag?
Maybe the DK algorithm takes the EV factor into account.
It has to.
I was going to say, yeah, you're like, you beat the drum for that kid. And
yeah,
let's see.
He has, he does
saying.
have an impressive amateur, like list of accolades.
Yeah.
It's not like he's not a polished, amateur coming in here. He knows how to win at different levels.
Yeah. I mean, if it weren't for Rahm, he would have been the #1 amateur during that time period.
Yeah. If it weren't for Jason Day, Kevin Chappell would have like 3 victories on tour.
I mean, the logic can certainly be used in the most circular way. But I mean, in all seriousness, no.
Sorry, Ev.
People are just killing me.
I just love the people that you love. Like, it makes me so happy how you beat the drum for like the most random fucking people. You're like, no, Lucas Glover is my dude. Like, Maverick McNeely is my guy. Like, come on.
Once these guys finally do something like on the big stage.
Oh no, there's a non-zero chance that Maverick McNeely turns into like an unbelievable golfer, and we come on every week, and you're just like, haha, you fucking idiots, you didn't believe me.
I'll have my my monologue on fan share. Like when you look at his ownership, there'll be a video.
Yeah, your monologue is so long it'll account for like 4 tags.
There you go. That's how you do it.
Quad tag, super tag.
Oh goodness. But like in all seriousness, now, I mean, how viable are these guys this week?
In terms of I think they are talented golfers that can show up in a weak field. Do I think he's going to win? No, but could he put a top 10 out there? Sure. Top 15? Absolutely.
Yeah.
And again, it's not like they have to worry about, these are big hitters too. These guys can bomb it all over the place if they want to here. Now they might have to figure it out from there, but they can do that. The fairways are humongous. So nobody should have any, issues kind of getting around off of the tee here. Which are kind of, it's Grayson's, issue from time to time when he misses it. That's with that and his putter. So, I mean, sure. Grayson will probably be pretty popular, I would think. I don't know. Like all these guys are kind of interesting. Like Ryan Palmer in Texas, Joaquin Neiman, the guy from last Texas tournament, my guy that he won me some money. Ryan Palmer in Texas. I don't think there's any water on this whole course, so he's probably like gonna make the cut. Keith Mitchell, if you only have to account for 2 rounds of golf. Harris English showed up in a bunch of my stuff this week. I'm not really sure how convicted I am with that, but he, for what it's worth, he showed up in my model blend.
Yeah, he was one of the starred people that I sort of hated and didn't really want to talk about. But I was looking at him as well.
There's a bunch of those people this week, I think.
Especially by the time you get to this range.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, like, after Joaquin Neiman, I don't think I have a star for a while. Yeah, I mean, like you could make a case for anybody like down to 7,500, like Troy Merritt at 7,600. Troy Merritt actually popped up in several of those things too, and he's actually the type of golfer that I could see showing up and like out of nowhere and posting like a top 15 or something here. He does that from time to time. Putts really well on Bermuda, and oh my God, that can't be right? He gained 4.8 strokes at the Wells Fargo. I might end up playing some Troy Merritt. That's it. Listen, at the Shell, he gained 6. The Valero, he just kind of flat with 0.3, but he gained 3 with his putter. And then he gains 4.8 approach at the Wells Fargo. I mean, he's clearly like in form with his irons. I'll definitely have a lineup with Troy Merritt in it now. Because he's like one of those like B squad. He's like one of those strippers that come out at like 3 o'clock in the afternoon, right?
Dude, that's not the B squad. That's like the
whatever.
D squad.
Whatever. Okay, fine.
Afternoon,
like 7 o'clock in the afternoon or evening, whatever. You know what I'm talking about. He's one of those guys that like he'll win it, like a James Hahn, right?
Yeah.
Like out of nowhere, show up and post like a big number in a tournament, and then miss 5 cuts in a row afterwards. Right. Yeah. So interesting that my sort of thought aligned with stats there. So yeah, I just starred Troy Merritt. He'll make a lineup.
There you go.
There's some other interesting names here, but nothing that like I don't know, nobody that I can like see myself legitimately rostering based on conventional wisdom and logic.
I don't know. I kind of want to have like at least a share of Saunders.
Sure.
Pretty cheap. Playing's like up and down. It's pattern math would tell you he's going to miss the cut here, but
oh no.
Shit. Never mind then. Forget it. He's just sort of been all over the place, but at least the last three times out, he's been positive on approach. And he's not. I don't know. He's not the most accurate guy, but he's not gonna kill you either. And he's been scoring points. He's 6th in DK points over the last 36 rounds, which for 7,400, I think that's pretty solid. But after that, it's disgusting. Like, I don't know.
Now, I do have some guys lower that I like, but there's a gap. There's a pretty big gap for me there.
If you're gonna wait, like scrambling and around the green stuff at all, do you have any interest in Seamus Power?
Yeah, he's one of the guys. He's just a talented golfer. Played pretty well in that couples deal or duos event. I mean, he's a winner at the web.com level. And, again, when you're playing, like one of the things I've learned, or at least maybe it's a stupid thing and I haven't learned it and I should unlearn it. But I think guys that show the ability to win at any competitive level are the types of guys when I'm down, sort of to the bottom tiers of these like B class fields or C class fields that I kind of want to target. And Seamus is one of those guys. He's and actually the guy right below him too. They're proven winners at the level right below this. And I mean, we're talking about like everyone was ready to bet Chesson Hadley this week, right? And he withdrew, but like everyone was so ready. And Chesson Hadley came up through that same system, winning multiple times on the web.com tour before getting onto the tour, getting acclimated. Like people forget Chesson went back and forth, right? He was on the tour for a couple of years, lost his status, went back, crushed it on the web, and then came back and is doing his thing. And he's much more improved. Like, so there's some of these guys down here that like fit that. Like everybody is going to go to Kevin Na 7,200 down here.
Yeah.
And I don't think I'm going to do that. I don't think I'm going to have any Kevin Na. And I think instead I'm going to sprinkle it between the guys that fit that mold I just talked about. And Seamus Power is one of those guys. He's also a pretty big hitter. And then the guy right below him, Steven Yeager, just won the Knoxville Open. Really talented guy, shot a 58 on the web.com one time on a coastal track, windy, exposed. Again, same path, is a proven winner at the level just before this. The type of guy that, won't be afraid of the moment, post in the top 5 on tour, things like that. So, and again, lots of chaos. These guys could easily pop up. So what are your thoughts on them? And then I'm going to leave the guy at 7,200 for you. There's a guy at 72. Yeah, there's a guy you're going to talk about at 7,200.
Are you talking about Tway?
Oh yeah.
I literally just clicked on him. Like I want to, but he was so bad off the tee last week. It makes me slightly nervous.
Yeah, I mean, he's a professional golfer. It's not like he's going to practice between now and then.
Yeah.
That was actually like very hurtful. Like I expect a formal apology for that.
I am so sorry.
How dare you, sir?
You're having a rough day. I forgot. You're having a rough day. I need to tone down the snark.
No. I mean, obviously, yeah.
You got enough snark.
I mean, you could say that about anybody. You could be like,
no, I know.
Yeah, no, Alex Cheka is gonna fucking turn it around this week because he practiced. Like,
well, so I guess the reason I said that like so quickly and adamantly about Tway is it's his biggest weapon, right? And like a guy's biggest and best weapon, his most confident thing, doesn't go away for long, and it was on a course that doesn't benefit that skill set at all.
Yeah, he was probably
so like I guess like I don't know. I just sort of expected you to completely overlook that result because of like those reasons and just be ready to go on him because like I put zero weight into him losing 3.8 strokes off the tee of the Players. Like he could have legitimately have probably posted a better result had he taken the driver out of his bag last week.
Right, but I mean, couldn't we also like apply that logic to here if we're gonna say that distance doesn't really matter and he's gonna fuck it up?
Yeah, but he also can't. Yeah, but like he can't miss. Like, he can't put himself in trouble off the tee. The fairways are literally 100 yards wide.
Well, yeah, I mean, he'll hit more fairways, but that doesn't mean he's in the right spots, right? Like that's
true,
like,
but if he's like 50 yards past everybody else, like in a garbage field, I don't know. I just feel like this is a spot for Tway to like.
I don't even know why I'm arguing with you because I love Tway. I don't understand what's happening to my brain right now. Like I don't get it. I agree with you.
I was ready for
he
you
gained
to
3 strokes on
Tway,
approach.
Here I am selling you on Tway.
Fuck it, forget that. I'm gonna cut that whole part out. Here's what I should have said.
Wait, hold on. That was the first time I've ever seen such a heated debate over Kevin Tway.
We're cutting that whole part out. It's not going to make.
Oh God, no! You can't cut that out. That was like the clip of gold.
3 strokes gained on approach, almost 3.5 gained on around the green and neutral putting. Lock Tway in, 100% play.
That's the man I'm talking about. Take a drink of beer.
I'm back, boys. I'm back.
Oh my God, man! I was concerned about you.
Yeah, no, that was stupid. That was like nitpick central. I really don't know why. I feel like that was like an out of body experience for me. I apologize. Do you still like Luke List,
or is Luke List still your favorite golfer? Or no?
That last week was tough. Last week was real tough. He was never my favorite golfer. No. Actually,
he hurt me too.
Shit, we didn't even talk about this. My actual favorite golfer is #1 in the world right now, fella. So let's give JT some credit where credit is due.
Some JLT.
Yeah, exactly.
That's right.
So just
use that middle name.
Just throwing it out there. I had multiple people DM me after that broke that he was #1 now. So
that's awesome.
I guess he's officially my brand.
Hashtag brand.
Love it.
Very nice. Hey, that's a good brand to be tied to, man. That one's gonna make it.
I know,
it's a shame it's a shame that you can't like get a cut for being his brand promoter. Because that would be great. Like a 0.025% cut would be just fantastic for your efforts.
Exactly. It's one of those things where you're like, oh, okay, yeah, I'm gonna tell you Justin Thomas is gonna do well, and you're gonna think I'm smart. Super.
And literally like 28% of the time you'd be right in the last 2 seasons. It's like Tiger-esque, return on numbers for wins. It's crazy. Like
the what's it called? The Data Golf has a thing. I'll post a screenshot of it after we get off here, but it has like a top 5 and like a win like graph based on like their careers, and it's he comes just about as close as anybody for to Tiger for wins and everything else that he's been doing.
I believe it. He's had an incredible, like, meteoric rise. Like, we thought Spieth was special when he rose up and like stormed the scene on 2015. What JT has done and is doing is way more impressive to me.
Yep.
And he's doing it like way more prolifically with his scoring. Like, I think he has the most rounds under 60 of any active player on tour, or even ever right now. But certainly of any active player. Well, I guess now that Tiger's back active, that may not be accurate. But either way, it's incredible what he's done in the last just 18 months. So, huge for him. Do you think Rahm will catch him, or do you think he's going to kind of hang on to that for a while?
I don't know how close they have to be reasonably close.
Rahm is 3 in the world.
No, I know he's 3, but like points wise, I feel like there was like a big gap between DJ and everybody, which is why it took so long to sort of catch up. And Rahm actually dropped to 4 now.
Oh, did he really?
It's JT, DJ, Spieth, and then Rahm.
Okay.
And Rose is 5. But yeah, I mean, there's a pretty decent gap between JT and Rahm right now. I would say if it happened before like the playoffs or like before the end of the year, I would be pretty shocked. I think that might be like a beginning of next year thing, but I could definitely see Rahm catching him.
Yeah, I mean, like, I don't know. I feel like Rahm's going to get it done. We're all a little worried about him right now, but I feel like Rahm's going to, get back to some courses that better suit his game.
Yeah.
And I think he's going to, there'll be an event that you get Rahm probably lower than you should.
For sure.
Coming up here pretty soon.
Yep. All right.
Everybody else down here like way at the bottom, or have we pretty well?
I mean, I'm just scrolling down the names here of everyone else. There's just nothing.
I mean, yeah, again, listen, this is Texas. Bodo's in the field, dude. My boy Bowditch. So, got to, I don't know, Bodo's a good dude, man.
He's the best, but he actually, if you're looking for some inside info, he tweeted out his thoughts about the course after having seen it. So,
oh, nice. I missed that. I'll have to go see that.
Yeah, I can.
I'll have to see how closely it aligns with like what I was able to discern on paper.
I can pull it up if you stall for a sec.
Cameron Tringale and Bronson Burgoon at 6,700 are two viable names. Bronson, I actually wrote Bronson up. He missed the cut the last time out at the Wells Fargo, but he did it by gaining 4.3 strokes on the field through approaches, which I don't know. I don't think he's going to have to worry about being out of position off the tee this week too much. And I think if that approach number is still there, we're in Texas. Burgoon is a viable play at 6,700. David Hearn. I actually wrote up David Hearn. So David Hearn, like if this course is what we think it is and maybe bombers don't apply and it's an approach strategic golf course that requires solid around the green game and a good putter. At the Valero, David Hearn, again, gained 4.3 strokes on the field, 1.5 around the greens and 3 with his putter, and snapped out of the little funk he was in. And he's also played well at other windy tracks throughout his career, like the RSM, things like that. So I could see David Hearn as like a really deep flyer in a big GPP, like 2% owned. It's definitely one of those guys. But I bet he makes the cut. Down here at 67. That's all you're really looking for if you're trying to stack in like 2 top tier guys, right?
Yeah, for sure. That would do well, especially in this field. If you can find a guy that's under 7K that makes the cut, I think you're definitely doing good.
Colt Knost, same thing. Like, think of like a younger, heftier Steve Stricker, but like basically the same game. They hit it as far off of the tee. They both are dead straight, and they both have way above average putters. Yep. Stricker, obviously a much more class player than Colt, but Big Gravy could make the cut out here in Texas.
All right, here we go. From the horse's mouth, Baudo tweeted a couple hours ago. Love Trinity Forest, suits every type of player. Fairways are rolling out good amount considering Zoysia. Green's somewhat receptive. Putting around green is near impossible as they have let greenside grass grow more than usual. Better bring short game and precision iron game. So there you go.
Nice to know that I wasn't too far off.
Yeah. And sweet. He's Baudo's always very forthright, sure. and obviously embraces DFS, which is pretty cool for a pro to give out that sort of those thoughts on a pretty regular basis when he's in the field. So cool of him.
Richie Wierzinski gained a bunch of strokes last week if you're just looking at approach, and then posted in 11th in Valero. That's pretty interesting to me. I played him in 4th round DFS last week as a GPP guy. I think it cashed. But
I made a lineup on Saturday night that I didn't remember making. So
that's right. You went on the bar hop Saturday night, didn't you?
Yeah, I did a little speakeasy tour in NYC, and it got a little bit away from me, and I woke up and checked my lineups and was like, round 4 lineup. Didn't know I did that. But no. It was pretty close to a min cash, which would have been like a top 3 percentile outcome for how I've been playing recently. So
well, things are turning around.
Yep, this is the week. This is it. I need to embrace the chaos.
Insurmountable lead on One and Done because I've missed 3 weeks in a row because Fantasy Sports Metrics doesn't have it ready to go on Monday nights, and then by Wednesday I forget. It's not open to check the box on Monday nights, so I've forgotten to go back after the podcast and do it. So
I think I may have missed last week too. I don't even think we did it on the show last week.
We didn't. Basically because One and Done is pointless and it's terrible, and I'm no longer going to invest time or money or energy in the contest going forward.
Oh, wait,
no, on this podcast I will, but in the future years,
All right.
In future years, it's going to be one of those things that it takes too much time away from what is, I don't know. It's not my thing. I've done it for 2 years, 3 years now, and just one and done has never been like my thing. So I'm going to focus on other things going forward.
Breaking news! I actually did get my pick in last week and forgot I played Jason Day. So the lead is climbing right now.
Insurmountable.
Ev's at 1.8. You're at 2.5, and I'm at 4.1.
Lapping the field. Is it open? Can I enter like pick my guy right now? If it is, I'll pick my guy.
Yeah,
I think so.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, I'm on it right now. Nice.
Because this is the only way that Evan's gonna do it.
It's the only way I remember. Honestly.
Geez, yeah. This is like now we're getting to the point. I'm in this one obviously, and one that I do from some guy that found me on Twitter, and it takes me forever to like even find who I've already picked. It's such a pain in the ass now. I'm like, this was fun for the first like 5 weeks when I could pick anybody I thought of. Now I'm like, wait, shit, did I use them already?
Yeah, it's I don't know. I understand the appeal of it. It's just not for me. I would much rather play like just weekly, like DFS contests.
I'm going Aaron Wise.
That's a nice pick this week.
He's sort of the guy that I keep coming back to, and if I'm not going to use him, I'm not going to use him anywhere else. Probably, I think that this is a week he could be successful in this field. So why the hell not, right?
Yeah, no, that's good. I've already used basically everybody at the top of this field. So, oh man, yeah. See, this is the problem when you have to like, who have I used? Who haven't I used? It is probably going to be Brendan Grace for me. I'll take baby swag Brendan Grace.
There you go.
I have already locked in my play for the week.
Oh boy,
we are locked, loaded, and saved. What's that?
It's got to be McNeely. If you don't play McNeely here,
okay. See, I was trying to get the big dramatics going in there. You just blow my load from it. But yeah, Maverick McNeely is my guy for the week.
Nice.
If it wasn't him, like everything you've said in like all these podcasts is null and void.
Oh no, right? Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, so yeah, McNeely is my guy for the week.
Jimmie, what was the thing you said the other week that had me cracking up, stepping on your dick?
Oh,
is that
yeah,
what you said? All right, yeah. I was trying to remember what it was and I couldn't.
That's a southern. Maybe that's a southern saying. You guys are both up north.
I've never heard that until you.
It's awesome. I love it so much.
That's a southern thing. It's because I don't know, but hear it a lot down here.
Yeah. So real quick, because I just looked it up, I'll tweet out the screenshots. I was like woefully wrong about JT even coming close to Tiger, except for made cuts. But I think that goes without saying. Top fives over it. JT has had 107 starts. In Tiger's first 107 starts, he was in the top 5 51 times.
Yeah. Now, what's the win percentage? I think the win percentage over the last 18 months for JT was like 28% of the time he teed it up, he won or something.
Yeah, that.
But I mean, it's a confined window. It's like 12 months or 18 months. It's not. It doesn't span back 2 seasons for sure.
Yeah. All right. Well, just thought I'd throw that in there. And since I just said it, I'm probably not going to screenshot it. So scratch what I said before.
Nice.
I got to work on this article at some point.
Yeah. All right. That'll do it for us. This has been the Bogey Free podcast for the AT&T Byron Nelson. Make sure to subscribe to the podcast on iTunes under Bogey Free. Make sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel, also Bogey Free. And of course, if we're not winning all the money this week, we hope you guys do. So good luck in your contest this week.
See you.
Peace.